Hey guys, it's Carl Brown from guitarlessons365.com. Got a classic today. We're going to learn how to do Bob Dylan's version of Knockin' on Heaven's Door. So I've done this before, the Guns N' Roses version. We're going to just do the Bob Dylan version today. It's a lot more simple, and this is going to be a pretty quick lesson because it's pretty much just one chord progression the entire time. And here's a little note for you guys. This is the first song I ever learned how to properly play on the guitar. My first ever guitar teacher, he was a Bob Dylan fanatic. So it's pretty much all I learned the first year of guitar was Bob Dylan songs. And he was like a fanatic. He had a songbook like this thick. And we would do these songs, and I would just strum, I want to play Steve Vai. And he'd be like, yeah, let's do this version that Bob did in Jakarta in 1969. You know, it was just it was that for a full year. I guess it was a good thing, good rhythm strumming things, but this is the first one I ever took a crack at, so this is kind of bringing back memories. Now, before I do get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm, and like and comment, watch the videos. That really, really helps. And if you're interested in the stuff that I do here on YouTube, I think you'll love my Guitar Academy. If you're somebody who came here for this lesson, you might be kind of more of a beginner player. I have complete beginner courses over there for you guys. Of course, I have courses for more advanced players as you get better. We got courses on technique, improvisation, theory, guitar tone, you name it, it's all over there. I go live with like a live stream with cast members every weekend. You get personalized support from me. So click that link below, you get a free 7-day trial, and I hope to see you there. All right, so let's jump into this. I'm in standard tuning here, and what we have is basically 4 chords, but he'll add a little variation to them sometimes, so it's kind of cool to kind of talk about that, and then you can add it whenever you want. Now, there's a couple of guitars on this track too, and one that's more of like an electric guitar, it sounds like, and he's doing a little bit different voicing of so when you're playing the G major chord, Bob is playing it kind of the 3-fingered version of it with the open B string, and then it sounds like the other guys, he's playing the version with the 3rd fret of the B, so the 4-finger version. We'll do Bob's version, just kind of the acoustic thing here. And I'll talk about some variations that he'll do throughout. So let's start here with this first chord. So this is a G major chord. Now, the reason why you're gonna kind of want to play it like this is because of these variations that he's gonna be playing. A lot of people like to play it like that. It might be a little bit feel easier, but we're gonna play it like this because of what's coming up, and it's gonna be easier to transition away to and from that chord if you do. So let's the high E string, and I'm playing the 3rd fret with my pinky. Then the open B, open G, open D. Then the 2nd fret there on the A string. And then you're gonna play the 3rd fret there with my ring finger on the low E string. So that's a G major. From there, we're gonna go to a D major chord. So that's gonna be the open D, 2nd fret there on the G, 3rd fret on the B, 2nd fret on the high E. So. And then we're gonna go over to an A minor chord. So this is going to be the open high E, then the 1st fret there on the B. Then you'll place the 2nd fret there on the G string with your ring finger. 2nd fret there on the D with your middle finger, and then that open A. So all together we have this. And then you're going to go back to the G. Now, one thing you're going to learn if you're just starting out on guitar is like when you're changing chords, it's not like you don't have to jump to that next chord. There's usually a light upstroke hit on just open strings in between it, which gives you a good transition. So if you can pick it up, see that? It's a really light. Hear that? Just kind of open, like just hit the strings, just completely open, very lightly, and then it gives me time to shift to the next chord. So that momentum stays, but so I'm hitting a chord, but you can't really hear it. It just kind of fills up the sound. So then we get back to the G and back to the D again. But the second time around, instead of going from that D to the A minor, we go to a C major. And it's a very close chord. So if we're back at this A minor that you just did, you basically pick up your ring finger and move it over to the 3rd fret there on the A string. And that's a C major chord. So the chord progression is basically a G to D to A minor. And then when you go back around, it's going to be the same first 2 chords, G, D, but then to C major. And so it's the whole sequence is actually 6 chords. And it's just that repeated for the whole song. So now, here's some variations I do, and I'll talk about the strumming a little bit. I am not a strumming pattern guy. I don't like giving out strumming patterns. Why? Because it makes you think about rhythm the wrong way. The way you want to feel rhythm is intuitively. For simple stuff like this, you should be using your ear and mimicking what you hear. The whole idea is to get the picking hand, whatever that is for you, going in a consistent tempo, even if it's like this, very kind of consistent, and it never stops. Even if you're hitting the strings or you're not, it never stops. And then you listen to the pattern that you're hearing and you just mimic it. And that is what's going to, if you overthink it and you want a pattern, then you're going to be thinking about the pattern and it's going to sound very rigid. If instead you understand that I'm just going to get this going in a very smooth way. Sometimes those will be accented, sometimes you'll miss it completely. But from there, you just listen to the pattern that you're hearing. See, I'm not always hitting the strings, but I'm never stopping. So that's how I want you to approach strumming on the guitar. Now I have courses in my beginner, the courses in my academy focus on this exclusively, so you can really feel rhythm the way like a professional guitar player is going to feel it. It's just kind of intuitively and by ear, unless it's a very complex rhythm. You're not going to see people up there strumming. Tom Petty's not thinking of a pattern when he's up there. He's just strumming along intuitively what he's hearing in his own head. So that's what you want to do as well, and it makes things a lot easier. And it helps you feel rhythm the right way. So now, variations that are going on through here is when he gets to the A minor, sometimes he makes it an A minor 7th chord. I know that sounds complex, but what he's actually doing, to do that, you just got to reach your pinky up and grab the 3rd fret on the high E string. So like this. Song, but he kind of goes to it randomly. There's no like set way he does it. And then he does the same thing on the C major. When you get to the C, he'll add that note on top as well. Now that still stays, that note happens naturally in a C major, so it's still called a C major. It's not a C major major 7th or anything now. It's just, this isn't, when you add that note to the A minor, it's an A minor 7th chord. But when you add that note to a C major, it just stays a C major chord. Don't worry about it. I know it's kind of confusing, but anyway. And you'll also hear him when he plays over the E or the C. Sometimes you'll hear him hit the low E string in the bass. Whether that's on purpose or not, it doesn't sound bad. Like this, here's the A minor, you hear all 6 strings. You hear that low E in there? And then you'll do the same thing on the C. Hear that low E? So you hear that crop in, not every time, but you'll hear that crop in. So He adds that third fret on the high E, on the A minor and the C throughout the song a lot. And then every once in a while you hear that low E string crop in underneath that A minor and C as well. And when I say underneath, that usually means it's lower in pitch. Okay, that's usually how we talk in music terms. Anyway, so that is about it. It's that same progression for the entire song, whether it's the verse or the chorus. So it's a great one to work on and learn in the beginning like I did, because you can really focus on these simple chord changes and getting them right without having to move around all over the place and think of different parts. It's the same thing throughout. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.